y'all, my name is Mallory Paulino from SAHMallorie. I post all kinds of homemaking and cleaning content, and today's video is going to be a playroom organizing slash a toy rotation. I have never done a toy rotation before, but our kids have a lot of toys and they play with all of them, so I'm not going to get rid of them, but their playroom gets very messy very quickly. So we are going to try out a toy rotation and see how it works. I think what I'm going to do is group everything into categories. Like, they have lots of like little people and animals that they like to play with, so I'm thinking of maybe doing like their Mickey Mouse characters, the princesses, the... Okay, I don't know where we left off, but I'm thinking of grouping everything into categories because they have lots of like little animals and people they like to play with. So I'm thinking of doing like Bluey characters, Mickey characters, princesses, so on and so forth, and just doing like each category out at a time and always having stuff like balls out and blocks out. Always having like some of the basics, but maybe just less. I don't know. I'm gonna kind of go through their toys, see what we have, see what we're working with, and see where to go from there. Because, like I said, I've never done this before, so I don't know where to start. Anyways, so I'm gonna go ahead and head on in there, and I'm gonna start. I think it needs to be tidied up just a little bit. Cool. So I'm gonna start by tidying it up just a little bit, and then we're going to organize and divide and start the toy rotation. The very first thing we're going to be starting with today is getting everything picked up and put where it belongs. That way we can see what all we're working with. So you can probably see all these little like styrofoam bead things, whatever they are. We had a little beanbag chair that like exploded and went everywhere. So we're gonna get all that cleaned up here in just a minute once I get the floors tidied up so I can get in there and vacuum that all up. Now I'm going to use my crosswave to vacuum those up and also mop at the same time, because honestly, this room does not get mopped near often enough. It's actually a very rare occasion that it does. So we're gonna go ahead and get the floors all cleaned up, and then we're going to, I think, start the toy rotation.
And here I finally remembered to ask my husband to move this big box of Christmas decorations out of the playroom so we can have our little like homeschool craft coloring corner back. And then we're going to go through and declutter everything. I'm starting with all our coloring books and all, and I'm looking through, and the ones that are like entirely colored in and filled up or ripped up really badly, we're gonna toss those and we're going to keep all the rest. Then we're going to go through and look through all the toys. We have mostly separated the toys we want to declutter. So I'm gonna start going through all these toys and putting some in these boxes. That way I can get kind of a visual idea of what all the kids will have out at a time, so I can make sure they have like enough to play with and enough variety every time. And obviously these big toys, like the dollhouses and whatnot, are not going to stay in the boxes. I'm just putting them in there for now just to group everything together. What I wound up doing was just putting them in the closet behind all the boxes, and obviously when I look in which box, I can see which toys go with whichever big toy, so it'll be pretty easy that way. Now I'm gonna go through all of these little animals. This is just their little animal figurines, and I'm gonna go through and take out like the broken ones, and the rest of them we're going to put away for now. And since the kids have several different stacking toys, I'm going to go through and put like one stacking toy in each group. That way they always have one out, but they don't have too many out at a time and get bored of them. And this one was missing one of the rings, so we're just gonna leave that one out and we'll try and find that ring sometime later. Now is one of the bins that honestly was the hardest to separate for me. It's all their characters and their people. They have so many different characters from like different movies, like all sorts of Disney characters and Bluey and Paw Patrol, just tons of different characters. So I didn't know whether or not to keep all of the characters together, which is actually a lot, or to separate them like by whatever show, movie, whatever they're from. So I wound up kind of doing a mixture. I would group like a couple of different groups together and put them in. That way they'd always have some, because if I put them all in one bin, they wouldn't really have these characters out all the time. And I know they really like them, so we're gonna see how this works out. Like I said, this is just kind of a trial run, and obviously if there's a specific toy that the kids want out like throughout the week and it's one of them that's put away, I will obviously go get it out for them, because I'm not trying to deprive them of their toys. I'm trying to make it where it's easier for them to play by having less out at a time, but they still get to enjoy all of their toys. But now I'm gonna go through the books, and I'm trying to divide them up too, because the kids love reading, but sometimes it's overwhelming how many they have. So we're gonna try that. Like I just said, it's a trial run. We'll see how that goes. But I'm trying to put like a little variety in every box. That way we have like board books, the books that make sound, the little touch and feel books, and paperback books, you know, all the kinds of books in every category. So I actually wind up putting them in the boxes at first, and then I wind up taking them back out because we won't have enough room in there. So that's what I'm doing now, and in a second I'm about to take them right back out. And this is where we're going to call it a day. And we're gonna pick back up on day 2. Right now what I'm doing is picking up all those toys we had set aside to declutter. I'm putting those in a garbage bag, and all of these toys over here on the ottoman, we had previously kind of set those aside and the kids never touched them, so we're gonna go ahead and put those in the bag too. And ignore my hair. Brooklyn wanted matching hair this day, so we did matching space buns. It looks adorable on her, but it kind of looks ridiculous on me, but it made her happy anyway, so whatever. Now I'm going through all their stuffed animals and making 4 piles because that's how many rotations we wound up going with, not for really any particular reason. We just had 3 bins, so we did 1 group out and 3 in the boxes. So I'm making 4 piles here, and the kids are kind of destroying it. I don't know if you can really see them, but they're instantly destroying the piles. But I'm trying to separate those, and then we're going to put those into the bins, and you're gonna see it was a really tight fit, but we squeezed it all in there. I probably should have gotten slightly bigger bins, but oh well. Now I'm gonna put all of these bins in the laundry room, which ignore how messy it is. I don't get in here and clean it near often enough because it's kind of cramped and awkwardly shaped, but we have a ton of space off to the left that we can't really get to, so it's not super functional, but it's good for storage, so that's where I decided to store the toys at. And now that I got all those put away, I'm gonna go through and pick up some of the toys that we left out and put those in the bins. And we have tons of extra space in these bins, so I'm probably gonna take about half of them out and kind of do like a checkerboard pattern with them, like every other space or something. I don't know. I didn't get to that this time because this honestly was a ton of work, especially with the kids running around. So we'll get to that next time, but I am gonna go through the bins on the top. Those are filled with the craft supplies and puzzles and whatnot. So I'm first gonna go through the puzzle box and group all of the puzzles together and put them each in their own bag. And once I get all those separated, I'm going to let the kids choose which puzzles they want to keep out. We're going to keep out one board puzzle and one like freestanding normal puzzle, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to go through the next box, which is mostly homeschool books and a few stickers. So I'm going to take those homeschool books out of here because we're not quite there yet. So I'm going to put those with all the other homeschool books that you have probably seen in Brooklyn's bedroom. This bin here had all of their colored pencils, markers, and crayons. So we're going to put those back in this little container that I had them in. And I'm just going to set that on top of the shelf for now. But that doesn't work out long term because then the kids keep getting into their markers and trying to draw all over everything they've already drawn on the wall since this. So that's why I had it up on the top where they couldn't see it. But now I need to figure out a better place to store these so they're not just coloring all over everything whenever they want. And this last bin was filled with mostly craft stuff and Play-Doh and some bubbles. So we're going to take all those out and try and sort those as best we can. By this point, I was tired of organizing, so I was just kind of like half-heartedly doing it and just trying to get it over with. So it's not organized the best that I can organize it, and I'll probably go in and redo stuff. Again, not like redo it all, but I'll probably go in and fine-tune some of this because it's not the greatest organizing it could have been, but for now it's so much better than it was before. Alright, so that's going to be it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope it gave you ideas if you've been looking for ways to organize your kids' toys or starting a toy rotation. It's been about a week since I filmed this, and let me tell you, it has actually been so great. I have not cleaned the playroom since this last clip here, and our floor, you can still see it. They have most of their toys out, but it's not unmanageable at all. So anyways, I hope this gave you all the motivation you needed and that you really enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give this a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more, don't forget to hit that subscribe button too. And I will see you then. Bye!